$60,000. It's a lot of money to just about anyone. It's also the amount that two YouTubers have accused their former friend of stealing from their business, leaving fans scratching their heads at how some of their favorite entertainers ended up taking each other to court.
Happy Fortnite Day, people!
We're joined by Jackson. He loves Fortnite so much, and Jackson actually made us a special little drink. Why don't we go see what Jackson was cooking up in the kitchen?
Wow. Oh my god, that looked delicious.
SuperMega is a YouTube channel with just shy of 1 million subscribers. Helmed by Matt Watson and Ryan McGee, the channel is home to podcasts, let's plays, sketch comedy, and even music videos starring the showrunners, who, over the past 6 years, have built an extremely dedicated audience who follow them to basically any project. Their little empire is the envy of many in the gaming space, and given everything I just said, it's not hard to see why. Watson and McGee now run SuperMega from the office they've nicknamed the Super Megaplex. Since their initial departure from the Game Grumps, they received help from and hired people to assist with the production of content as the scope of SuperMega expanded. There's a short list of employees who have come onto the team to help put out content at a consistent pace, and it's undoubtedly played a major role in growing them to the point that they're at now. Everything seemed to be well with the SuperMega brand, but fans were shocked when it came out in April that the two stars were suing their editor and recurring guest on the show, a 26-year-old by the name of Jackson Tucker. So what happened? To truly understand, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of SuperMega as a brand, and examine their relationship with the defendant. Something newer fans may not be aware of is that the people behind the channel have been creating content online for nearly a decade. In 2014, Matt was attending school at the University of South Carolina, pursuing a degree in business. There, he would meet Jackson Tucker. The two became fast friends and would remain in contact over the next few years. Losing interest in school, Matt wouldn't prioritize his classes and ended up dropping out after his freshman year to pursue other passions. At the time, YouTube had become a viable career option for young entertainers with a vision, which was appealing to Matt. As a result, he began to focus on developing a comedy channel called Kids with Problems, which mostly featured sketch comedy videos.
We sell drugs, yes we do. Wanna buy some drugs? We're the guys for you.
Despite dropping out, Tucker remained a close friend of his, even appearing in his videos as an actor all the way back in early 2015. Upon taking his YouTube career more seriously, Matt became acquainted with another sketch comedy group called Sendago, hosted by Daniel Kyrie and Ryan McGee. The two channels hosted similar content at the time, with their styles naturally lending themselves to collaborations with the other. He ended up flying out to Los Angeles to film this collaboration, becoming much closer friends with both of them in the process. Also present at the time and in these videos was their roommate Mark Fisbach, better known online by the alias Markiplier. While he had gone out there for a simple collab, it turned out to be much more fruitful than he likely anticipated, not only strengthening his personal relationship with the Sendago crew, but also getting him a job opportunity. After the trip, Dan managed to convince Markiplier to hire Matt as an editor for his gaming channel, and so in early 2015, Matt moved in with them to become a full-time employee. Now living in California and working for Mark, Matt started neglecting his own channel, but that didn't mean he wasn't producing content outside of his work obligations. Instead, he aided in producing content for the Sendago channel. By August, he'd officially become their third member and was featured in all of their branding. No doubt a huge prospect for the aspiring creator. It seemed like everything was going well. Unfortunately, this is where the story takes a tragic turn.
What's up, guys? This is going to be the final Sendago update or Sendavlog or whatever we've called it over these 3 years. Of course, by now everyone has heard the news. Unfortunately, Daniel has passed away.
On September 18th, Daniel Kyrie passed away after making an attempt on his own life. His loss was devastating, as the friends went on hiatus to take the time to grieve.
If it wasn't obvious, the reason that I haven't been able to post videos, or any of us have been able to post videos, is just because we've been dealing with it. It's been a very, very long week, and it hasn't even been a week yet, but it's been a very, very long period of time.
This put the three remaining stars of the show in a difficult position. Every piece of content thus far had involved Daniel. Fans wondered if they would attempt to continue or to shelve the project given it was so tied to someone who was no longer around. In the end, Sendago was disbanded. with Matt and Ryan issuing a statement thanking everyone who'd followed them for so long. The three collectively returned to the internet in October, with a video on Markiplier's channel titled Moving Forward Together.
Hey guys, I'm here with Ryan and Matt. We're all in South Carolina. We're together again, and I just wanted to make a video with them to talk about the future and what we're gonna do.
There, Matt revealed that although Syndago was over, he would resume posting on his old personal Kids with Problems channel. Ryan eventually joined him, becoming co-host. He felt uncomfortable, however, as it was ostensibly Matt's account. He had no real connection to it other than hopping on at a time that it felt convenient. Because of this, in April of 2016, the two launched yet another project, titled SuperMega. This would turn out to be their greatest endeavor yet, going on to surpass both of their previous channels and likely their own expectations around how much online fame they could even get. While they initially continued to work for Markiplier, by June the two would quit, moving out of his place to pursue other ambitions. With their experience from Mark, they were able to land a number of editing jobs, at times doing behind-the-scenes work for Game Grumps, as well as Oni Plays and Kitty Cat Gaming. This experience, as well as the notoriety gained by being on the Game Grumps channel, helped their channel grow at a rapid rate, reaching the 100,000 subscriber milestone by September of 2016, just 9 months after the initial creation of the project. During all of this, Jackson had continued pursuing his business degree all the way back in South Carolina. After graduating, he decided to make a move many college students had before him. He went to California in pursuit of a job. This turned out to be a much more arduous task than he expected, having a hard time landing a job while out there. Desperate, he found himself crashing on Matt's couch, who was more than willing to support an old friend. The two had a great time reconnecting after being on different career paths for so long, and as months went by, this rekindled bond evolved into a formal roommate agreement. Meanwhile, the channel had grown to a point of undeniable success. By 2018, SuperMega had grown to surpass 500,000 subscribers, and this was no inflated subscriber count. They were accumulating millions of views every week thanks to their frequent uploads. Much like Mark had done, Matt was now in a position where he could offer others jobs to hopefully offload some of the responsibility and spend his time elsewhere. One of the first people that came to mind was Jackson. Accounting for his knowledge in business he had gotten from his degree, he seems like a good candidate to help the duo pump out content. In May of 2019, Jackson Tucker was officially hired as their producer. Jackson was already beloved by fans at this point, having made frequent appearances after moving to Los Angeles. He had great chemistry with the hosts, complementing their sense of humor, and he was even vital to specific series on the channel. Tucker was a hobbyist barista, and would procure original drinks for the channel's series Drunk Drawing.
So I'm going to be doing some little minis for Matt and Ryan that they can take as shots. I wore the proper attire for this, my little shaker. I'm gonna get my simple syrup. It's just a mixture of sugar and water.
These recipes became draws as patron-exclusive content. He even began uploading his own videos elaborating on his expensive taste in alcohol. In 2019, Jackson and his two brothers began helping with Matt's production company, Lazy Eye. They helped produce music videos for artists such as Freddie Dredd and Wanda Mountain. He started taking up more responsibilities, managing their social media presence, and was even given a credit card for business expenses. They trusted him and were more than willing to overlook any small mistakes. In late 2020, Matt purchased a van intended to be used for a podcast with the Tucker brothers. However, mere days after its purchase, Jackson crashed it in a way that required heavy repairs. Matt, out of generosity, decided to cover the damages himself. He only asked Jackson to have it towed to his house. His friend declined, forcing Matt to do it all on his own.
So you know how Jackson crashed my van?
Yes.
So I've actually never talked about this.
Just so there's no drama.
I told Jackson.
Mama drama.
No, Jackson had to get my van towed. Didn't. I had to get it towed to my new house, and it cost $1,000 to go 1 mile.
Okay. Now, why is he responsible for the van, your van? Some might ask.
Because he crashed it a month after I bought it.
How did he crash it?
Rear-ended a taxi.
It's such a Jackson kind of thing to happen to.
Regardless, they remained friends throughout all of this, and the story became just another anecdote to joke about while doing their videos. Other examples include them apparently joking that Jackson had the face of someone who would steal $1 million.
Well, see you later, Jackson.
Have a good podcast.
See ya. You too, bro.
Can I get you guys anything? Some drinks, some water, some coffee?
I'm good.
About $1 million. One.
Let me get the SuperMega checkbook.
Okay.
On December 15th, 2021, Jackson got engaged to his then fiancée. Naturally, this meant that he wouldn't appear on the channel as frequently. However, observant viewers noticed that he was no longer credited in their descriptions as a producer. And as time went on, fans began to wonder if something had happened behind the scenes. He wasn't appearing in any of their videos anymore. On March 13th, 2022, a thread was posted to the SuperMega subreddit asking, "Where'd Jackson Tucker go?" There, it was noted that Jackson had removed them from his profile as a reference. While this seemed to confirm his departure, It was not enough to substantiate any theories. In the replies, one commenter claimed, "They mentioned this like 100 times. He left the company last summer to pursue streaming / his own Patreon." However, no one else seemed to remember this, and instead went back to speculating on whether or not the relationship had soured in some way. It would be months before any of these fans would be given answers.
I got a little unfinished business at SuperMega, so can't drop that one yet. I'm currently following the Jackson Tucker dream, which is helping myself now that I have been exposed to the beautiful world of money. It's no longer fun for me, and I've decided to cash in while I can.
On April 15th of 2022, the truth about Jackson was leaked to the public. By some stroke of luck, a curious fan decided to search the host's names in the LA court filings. It was then that they discovered SuperMega had filed a lawsuit against their former friend for embezzlement. The user immediately posted their findings to Reddit, where it quickly disseminated across social media. Because no source was given, many at the time perhaps hoped it was a joke. Merely a goof, a gaffe. Perhaps intentionally spreading misinformation online for the fun of it. After all, it seemed perfectly in line with something they do on the channel as a bit. But people began checking for themselves, only to find the information was legitimate.
It's like Jackson's like having like the accountants pay him 20 grand a week and we just have no idea.
Yeah. Oh no, don't bother troubling Matt and Ryan with this. They told me not to have them worry.
Dude, Jackson's been handling
I'm serious. If there's no milk in the fridge come Monday, when I come in,
it's incredibly painful.
Adam and Eve both learned that no matter how close you are, snakes are always about. Snakes are always, go slithering through the grass.
Eventually, someone purchased a file of the entire legal complaint and released it to the public. As mentioned before, shortly after Jackson joined SuperMega, he was given an American Express card to make business expenses. However, in January of this year, they noticed a few excessive purchases and began investigating. They discovered that over the course of 2 years, Jackson had allegedly used it for a wide variety of personal expenses, totaling over $60,000. The document contains a breakdown of every single purchase that he made each month, with some ridiculous outliers. In March, he spent $800 visiting Strong Water, a tiki bar in Anaheim, California. It's worth saying that Jackson adores the tiki aesthetic, which fans took note of when he appeared on the channel. Between September 13th and the 16th, he used nearly $400 to achieve his childhood dream of visiting koalas at the San Diego Zoo. This included a rental car and restaurant dinner. In December, he paid $457 for the 25th anniversary Persona Deluxe vinyl box set. He celebrated this purchase on Twitter, writing, "Babe, I know we just got engaged, but the $500 Persona vinyl box set is an investment." Oh, and he seemingly spent $40 on ironic Minion merchandise from Universal Studios. Further analysis from the user sassy_Cinnabon gives more insight. If you'll recall, Jackson was very into mixology and had an expensive taste in alcohol. Well, the spreadsheet reveals that he spent $12,000 on alcohol alone. Bear in mind, this doesn't include any purchases made for drunk drawing, as those would be considered authorized purchases. He spent $12,000 on alcohol for himself. Jackson had set several recurring bills to charge the SuperMega Amex card, with the cumulative total being over $1,600. He also used the card for frequent food delivery services. Nearly $5,000 was wasted on DoorDash alone. Never mind the additional $1,300 from Grubhub. Once Matt and Ryan prepared the document, they approached Jackson with their concerns. After all, he'd been their friend for nearly 10 years. It would only be fair to hear his side of the story. They first discussed the matter over text, where he offered 2 explanations. The first explanation he gave was that he'd confused the Amex card for his father's credit card, which didn't make him look much better. At the least, he would be repeatedly practicing extreme negligence. The second explanation was that he'd never knowingly used the card for personal expenses. While this could be believable if it was an infrequent mistake, he knowingly had set it up for recurring bills in several apps. He'd spent literally tens of thousands of dollars on expensive things like alcohol. It just doesn't seem like a plausible explanation for $60,000 worth of purchases over 2 years. On February 4th, the three held an in-person meeting where they allowed him to demonstrate the business purchase of those purposes. Jackson instead reiterated his past excuses, which they immediately rejected. In the end, SuperMega severed its relationship with him, and almost 2 months later, on March 28th, Jackson Tucker was served a lawsuit for embezzlement. While it's too early to be certain of how this case will end, the evidence appears damning. I can't imagine most of these being defended as business expenses in any way, and so far Jackson's excuses have been pretty weak. If Matt and Ryan win, Jackson will be ordered to recover those damages, which could vary from liens to garnishing future income. SuperMega is also seeking to have him responsible for the court fees. But honestly, who knows how long that could take. To be frank, there's a high chance that this will be settled out of court, which, if so, will be for an amount less than they lost. But that mostly comes down to how long Matt and Ryan are willing to deal with the legal system. It's possible they just want to recoup some of the cash and be done with it. On the other hand, it's possible that they're upset with Jackson and think he deserves to pay the entire fee.
Some help from all of you.
What that looks like is $5 a month, or more if you can afford it, given to me on this Patreon page. And this wouldn't be a little Patreon video if I didn't tell you the bonuses that you all get by subscribing.
Since the news broke, messages have surfaced on Discord that seem to prove Jackson knew what he was doing. In the screenshots, he remarks that they probably wouldn't notice if he began stealing from them, before admitting, "I'm not saying how much I take, but let's just say it's the equivalent of taking $20 from somebody with $100,000. When the document spread across social media, most people's response was to crack jokes about the situation. I can't blame them, because some of these purchases are ridiculous. But it's worth reiterating that Jackson had been with them from the start, befriending Matt long before he had any ounce of success. Time and time again, Matt extended generosity to him, letting him crash on his couch, getting him a job, and even turning a blind eye when he crashed a vehicle. They never could have expected that someone they shared such a long history with would betray them, stealing over 60 grand in the process.
Always snakes around. Be careful, guys. There's always a fucking snake right around the corner.
Yeah, be careful. Keep your wits about.
Hours after the initial Reddit post about the lawsuit was made, they posted a statement on their social media. In regards to the lawsuit involving ourselves and Jackson, please do not use this as an opportunity to witch hunt, harass, dox, or be uncivil to anyone. It's an ongoing matter, and we will keep you updated as we see fit. Thanks. I'd like to echo that same sentiment here, because as humorous as it is to portray Jackson as a cartoonish villain, it was likely a habit that spiraled out of control, and one that I'm sure will be resolved between the parties involved. Regardless, it serves as an interesting story about the fact that sometimes friends will take advantage of you, no matter how much generosity you extend to them. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Times before, and it's just not that far.